So, good morning. So, the previous class we have seen try and catch and final. So, what is try and what is catch and what is final? We are already. So, why we go for this concept? So, is there to continue our code, right? So, we have seen arithmetic exception and null pointer exception. So, if you know the exception, you can put it that exception. If you don't know the exception, you can simply set the exception. So exception class, it can handle any type of exception. Okay. So try follows catch, catch follows final. So finally, what word we can keep? So we can keep what are the important code we need to run. Is that a job is done or not? Okay. And try. So which code is throwing error? That code we need to keep it in try. And catch. So catch. So the code is throwing error. May throw or throw not. Okay. Then exception class will be catch that exception. Okay. So this is the concept we have seen yesterday. Okay. Exception handling. Okay. So see, if you don't know the exception, you can keep that class, or else you can simply use the exception class. So exception class can handle any type of exception. Okay. So if you are not watching my previous class, go and watch my previous class and subscribe my channel. Okay. So let me open notepad. Okay. So I'll explain you the hierarchy of exception handling. Okay. So coming to the hierarchy of exception. Okay. Coming to the hierarchy of exception. Hierarchy of exception. So what is the super classes of all classes? What is the super class of all classes? So object in Java, object. So object, right? Java. In Java, object is super classes of all things. Classes of classes. So next. So next. Okay. So again, coming to the exception. The exception probably is a class. So it has two subclasses. Okay, two subclasses. So let's see here. So let's see here. Throw. So object is superclass of all classes. Coming to the exception, throwable. So throwable is a superclass for exception. Okay. Throwable. This is the exception. So coming to the exception, throwable is a superclass. Okay. And throwable, again, it has two subclasses. Okay. So one is error and one more is exception. Exception. Okay. Okay. This is so next. Okay. So error we cannot handle it. So in Java, so in error in Java, if there is a error, we cannot handle it. Okay, that error. So we have to fix that error. We cannot handle it. If there is an exception, we can handle that exception. But error, we cannot handle it. So, so exception, we can handle it. Okay. Error, we can't handle it. Okay. So you can just remove this error. See, this is a class. So, C refers class. Okay. This is a class. So throwable as a class. So class. And exception also. Okay. See. Okay. Throwable extends object and exception extends throwable. Means like a child and parent relation. Okay. So here throwable extends object and exception is extends throwable. Okay. What is my point, right? And again, this exception has two subclasses. Okay, two subclasses for this exception class also. So what is those? So those are, one is runtime exception class and second one IO exception class. Okay, IO exception and runtime exception. Okay. Runtime exception, IO exception. Two classes or subclasses for this exception class. Okay. And this runtime exception, we can call it as unchecked exception. So this runtime exception, we can call it as unchecked exception. Okay. Unchecked exception. Call it as unchecked. Checked exception. And IO exceptions are checked exceptions. So checked exception. Set checked exception. Okay. Okay. So runtime the exceptions are unchecked exception. IO exceptions are checked exception. Okay. So now these exceptions giving any checking to your at compile time? No, right? Only you can see runtime occurred. Those are exception. That means, so see, that means once you execute, the program is, then only you know, right? So once you execute, then only you know, right? There is a exception is there in my code. That is unchecked exception. So because the compilation time, those are not recognized. Those are, okay. So these exceptions are at runtime only, right? Okay, exception is commented as of now. So exceptions, you could not identify that exception in a runtime normally. That exception will come at runtime. So those are unchecked exception. So whatever that means, whatever you see, that means whatever we have seen like arithmetic exception, and null point exception and array index out of bound exceptions. These are unchecked exceptions. Okay, so only we can check it. We can know runtime compiler not showing any errors, right, while we doing coding, right? So the exception comes, then we can know those are checked exceptions. We can add compile. So coming to the checked exception. So checked exceptions we know at compile time, but those are occurred at runtime only. Okay. So checked exceptions uh, will know at compile time, but those are run in runtime. Okay. So you know at compile time itself. That is called checked exception. Suppose you are accessing a file. You know that file is not there in that path. Okay. So you will get file not found error. Suppose you are writing or SQL syntax. SQL syntax. So intentionally done some mistake in that syntax query. Okay. So that will not execute. That means That means it is checked. Okay. Before execution also, right? So that means those are checked exceptions. But when once you execute, then only it will coming exception. So, but exceptions are always throw in runtime, but so those are occurred at runtime, but before runtime also at compile time. So those are checked. Okay, and these are unchecked exception. So runtime exceptions, IO exception. So runtime exception is unchecked exception, IO exception is checked exception. Okay, next. And so example for runtime exceptions. So we can say this. So arithmetic exception, null point exception, array index of exception. So example for IO exceptions. So SQL exceptions and file not found exceptions. Okay. For examples, these are okay. Okay. So I hope you all understand what is checked exceptions and what is unchecked exception and where we can know the unchecked exceptions and where we know the IO exceptions. Okay. So whatever exceptions I have, those are in java.c lang package. Okay. You see here, these are there, these are, you see here, see java lang dot automatic exception. So these are these are existing exceptions. Okay. These are not my requirement. Suppose there is a scenario I have. So water exception. So for example, I take water exception. So if your age is greater than 80, so then only you're eligible for voting. If your age is less than 80, then you can't. Then you are not eligible. Okay. So water exception. So is there any water exception in Java? No, right? Is that any type of water exception in Java? No, right? So there is no water exception. Okay. But if you want to throw that water exception, okay, then so you have to create your own exceptions. So you have to create your own exception. That means custom exceptions. So how you write a customer array, employee array, like that. So here also we have a concept called custom exception. Okay. So that we can see it. Okay. Okay. So let me remove this, or else let me create one more class. Don't disturb this one. So okay. My class name is demo demo exception. So here I am taking public static payment, and I don't want to take any package. So simply create it. Okay. So here. So this is my class. So there is a code. Okay. There is a code I have. Okay. So there is a code. So int a equals to 20 and int b equals to 0. Okay. That code is throw some exception because that was a problem, right? A sum. So if you want, you can raise an exception also. In that concept, we can see if you go there. So we have demo test, right? So this a equals to 20 and int b equals to 0. It throws some exception, right? Because it throws some exception. So without code also we can throw exception. So throwing exception. So without code, you can raise your exception. How? So how to raise exception? So in order to raise exception, there is a keyword called throw. So so I simply throwing and throwing. And so exceptions are thrown in the form of objects. Okay, exceptions are thrown in the form of objects. So arithmetic exception is there, right? Is a class, right? Let me take arithmetic exception. See, arithmetic exception. Okay, say so arithmetic exception. That's it. So what it does, it throw arithmetic exception. How? Just simply run it. Just simply run it. So let me run. See, exception in thread main. Okay, Java line arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception line number 7. So by using throw keyword, okay, throw keyword without writing any code, or there is a problematic code also. See, if you want, you can raise exception. There are some exceptions. Okay. So we can use this kind of concept by using throw keyword. Okay. So this is arithmetic exception. If you want to throw null point exception, you can simply null point exception, run it. So exceptions are created in the form of object. Okay. So ilage kada we can create objects. Throw new keyword as well. New keyword by using new keyword. See, exception in thread. So simply we can create like this, or else so array index out of bound exception. So if you see here, so like that you can throw, okay, throw it. So I mean this is not a custom exception, predefined exception. You can throw it. Okay, the existing exception. So whatever exception, customer exception I take. Okay, throw is clear, right? By using throw, we can throw only one exception at a time. Okay, because only the throw new object, right? By using throw keyword, we can throw only one exception at a time. You can't throw again, for example, separated by comma again, some null point exception I want to see, null point exception. Let me say, see, okay, there is no like this. Okay, so throw is a keyword used inside a method or inside a constructor Okay, inside a method or inside a constructor. Whenever you use throw and new exception, it must and should throw a exception. Okay, must and should throw a exception. So where I am using this throw, so I am saying within method we can use this throw keyword and or else constructor. So I can create this class constructor. Within the constructor, I can create this throw. Okay, new object. Must and should. So, and also this is must and should throw exception whenever you use throw. So throw is a keyword. By using throw, we can throw exception in the form of objects. So, okay. So, okay. So you can throw by using exception inside a method and inside a constructor. So, and by using throw, only one exception at a time. You can throw. And this is you guaranteed that an exception. Okay. And this is clear, right? Throw. So throw is clear to everyone, right? And there is one more keyword called throws. Throws. And arithmetic array index of one exception and null pointer exception. See, throws we can use multiple exceptions. How many like that or how many exception you want, you can create it. Okay. So throw is a keyword. So throw is a keyword. You can declare multiple exception. Okay, multiple exception. So if I run this, so let me run this. So it may or may not. So it is not guaranteed exception. Okay. So by using throw keyword, we can use multiple exceptions. Okay. Okay. Here. Okay. Here, let me create one method. So public void and an access file. You can say access file. So this is method. And this we can create method level. Okay. We can use method level. Rows. Okay. Arithmetic exception. So, okay. So null pointer exception and file not found exception. Okay. Okay. So these mean. So this method, okay. So we'll take two methods, two exceptions. Only two exception we can take, or else it will be long, right? Okay. So I'm taking. Okay. So if anyone accessing, okay, or calling this method, so the person may know. So this method may or may not throw is exception. So, so this method may or may not throw a arithmetic exception and file not found exception. So he knows the method name, okay, but the may or may not throw exception. So that he will be careful on that. So he understood that he can do it. So, and this is not giving any guarantee. So here you are declaring a exception. Okay, not uh, throwing the exception. Okay, you are telling to the customer. So this method may or may not throw an exception. So you have to be careful while writing the inside the code inside the method, and think that, so in future I can handle to arithmetic exception and file not found exception. So that kind of alert you should have. Okay. So clear, but it not throwing any exception. It is not giving any guarantee. And by using throw keywords, we can declare multiple exception throws. Okay. And this we can use method level, not inside method. So, and constructor level. Okay. So we can use this is method level or parallel to that method. What are the method you write? So the method level we can, not inside the method and not inside the constructor. So throw we can use within the inside the method, but throws we can't. Okay. Those are method level. Okay. That is throws. And throws we can declare multiple exceptions. Okay. Throws does not give any guarantee. That method will throw exception. Okay. There is no guarantee. Okay. So we are not getting any exception, right? Okay. So whoever calling this method, the person responsibility to handle arithmetic exception and file not found exception. Okay. If exception occurred, but it does not any guarantee that exception or does not occur exception. But throw keyword is must and should rise exception, that is inside a method. Only one exception at a time you can rise it, and other inside concept. Okay, it is possible. But comes to throws, multiple exception you can declare, and method level and constructor level. Does not give any guarantee exception, but it is giving notification or alert saying this method is not throw exception. So throws, these are the differences we have. Okay. Okay. So throw and throws. Okay. Okay. Throw and throws. So how to create our user defined exceptions. So how to throw those custom exception, that we will see. So if I want to create my own defined exception is a class, right? So you have to create a class. So I take one scenario, water exception. So my exception age means water exception, age limit exception. Okay. If age is greater than or equals to 18, he can vote. He can cast his vote. Okay. He or she can cast exception. If age is less than 18, not supported to not cast exception. Okay. You don't want to go and do it what? Okay. Some messages. I'll show some messages. Okay. So how to do it? So now let me create a class. So I'm not taking any package. Okay. My class name is water exception. Okay. Water exception. So I'm not taking any public method. See, now tell me, is this class is an exception class or not? No, it's normal class only. If you want to make, so if you want to make your normal class as a exception class, you have to extend exception class for all exception. Okay. So super class of all exception is throwable. Okay. So super class of all exception is exception. Okay. So also recommended extends exception. So extends exception. Okay. Okay, now it's become a exception class. So there is a relation between this water exception and exception. Okay, so it becomes an exception class. What you have to do, you create two constructor. Okay, so one is normal constructor, one is parameter constructor. So how to create constructor? Simple. So water exception constructor. This is my default constructor. Okay, this is my default constructor. This is normal constructor. Okay, and how to create parameter constructor? Water exception, and here let me say string message. So okay, this message. Okay, okay. So if I want to pass this parameter, you have to assign a parameter, right? I declare one parameter, private string message. Okay, let me define one private string ms. Okay. Okay. So I take that message. Okay. Okay. So how to assign this message? So how to send this message? This dot your current object. So this dot message equals to ms. Right? This is how we can create. So this message equal to message. So a constructor with parameter. Whatever message you are passing, so that is assigned here. Okay, whatever message you are passing, that is assigned here. Okay. So next. So okay. So here let me say public string get message. Yes. And this is return your message. Then ms. Okay, that message we can return. Okay, yes or no? So private, so private variable and constructor. So this is so the above one is default constructor. Okay, so in this we have to add some messages. So what message you have to put here? So msg equals to okay. Okay. So let me define. So water age exception. Why that exception is coming? Age must be greater than or equal to 18. Okay. And next. So water age exception, age must be greater than or equals to 18. Okay. Okay. If your message passing through program, this will take. If you are not passing any message from your program, this will take. Okay. 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 So how? I will show you. So if you like write like this, your exception class is over. Your custom exception is class is over. So what you have done here? So you create a private variable and created one constructor, default constructor. This is parameterized constructor. This is method. Okay. Okay. So now we'll see. Okay. So this is clear, right? Let me go to demo exception class. Okay. I hope you all understand this. If you are not, you can comment me in below the video. Okay. Okay. So why? So we have created a variable. Why this string variable? Because we are printing message, so available to the message. So whenever create exception object without parameter, this message will come, and so whoever create a exception object with the parameter, this is so he is passing that message, right? Then it is taking and assign, and when we return, okay, that message return. Okay. You will be understand that. So well, we will go. Okay. 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 So now, so you have to test it. So here, let me go. So how to test it? Very simple. So okay. So I take a variable int. So okay, I'm taking directly input. Okay, age equals to 30. So if age, so if age, okay, less than 18. So so else block. So what we can do? So sys out dot or dot the age I am printing. So whatever age is given by user. So let me define the given given age is plus age. Okay, here I am doing this. So okay. So here, so here you have to throw exception. So how to throw exception? Throw. So new. So exception is form of the object, right? So what is the class you have? Water exception. So water exception. Okay. Water exception. So water exception. So see, unhandling exception. Okay, unhandling exception. Either you have handle it here by using try catch blocks, or else you can declare simply throws. So, but we have to handle it, right? So we can use try first. Okay. So try by using try. Okay. Within this try, so I simply okay here throw an exception and catch catch catch. So says out. Says out. So what exception you are throwing here? So what exception? So this is so water exception, right? So water exception VE. So that exception you can say here. So sys out. Sorry. 5 years given, right? That VE. So that VE dot get message that will return. Okay. This is how we can create it. Okay. So I am throwing water exception whenever it is less than 18. Okay. So I am showing the age also here. Okay. So clear, right? Let me run or running it. So I am giving. So the given age is 30. So that means there is no exception. So let me give here 16 here. Now what happened? See, so water age is exception. Age must be greater than or equals to 18. So that class is called or not. When we go inside this class, so this is coming, right? Yes or no? The water age exception. Age must be greater than or equal to 18. So this is static message. Okay, this is static message. After some time, so water is reduced to 17 or 18. So 17 or 19. So again, you have to touch this program and change the value of this, right? So so now we increase that. Age water is 19. 19 I think we can allow it. Then what happens? We need to again 19. We have to mention 19 like this. This is static message. Okay. But how we can do it in dynamic? Okay. Simply. So what you have to do? So whenever there is an exception throw here, so you can simply, so water, age must be 19. Okay. So that is okay. 19. Now we can see. But any condition putting 18 only. So anyway, we put 18. Okay, no problem. That is. We have also changed the according to the logic. So just the message we are putting. So we will see this. Which message is coming? Okay. Now this one. Which message is coming? So now let me try this. See, water age must be 90. Okay. So this is going to here. It is adding and then it is assigned to this. Whenever you get message, then it is written. Okay. Here. Look at this. So that is printed. So if you want to pass exception message dynamically, you can pass like this, or else you can put it like this. Okay. Okay. This is. And suppose if you are not handling exception. So if you are not handling exception means so you are not handling exception. So let me remove this. So let me remove this. Let me remove this. So what happened? So it throw an handling exception type of water exception. Okay. If you see here, you run here. So exception in a thread main unreasonable. So unhandling exception type water exception at demo exception at main. So exception in thread mean the same as the you submitted. Okay. So unresolved compilation problem and handling exception. So okay, that is so this is giving. Okay. Okay. So unhandling exception type of water exception. Okay. So here we're getting the exception. So here you can throws is a keyword, water exception. Okay. Okay. Because you are throwing throw exception. So whenever if you are not handling and you are how throw that exception, your default handling JVM is provided. So default handler. So there is a default handler that is handle will exception, your exception. So if you see here, so I am not using any try and catch. Now what happened? Throw. There is a keyword throw that is throwing exception. See if you see here. So water age exception, age must be greater than or equals to 18. Okay. So your static message is coming. Okay. Okay. So this is your user defined exception. Okay. And so I told you, right? So exceptions are two types, right? Checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. See, if I wrote throw, if I write automatic exception, okay. So is there any compile error it is showing? So that means it is unchecked exception. If I run this, exception occurred, right? Okay. If I use IO E exception, see, so it is showing compile error running this. So exception is there. So this is checked exception. Compile time it is checking. Okay. Similarly, if you write, so water exception. Similarly, if you write water exception, it is checking. See. See. So exception is there. So now we can now. So what is this exception? Water exception. Is this checked exception or unchecked exception? So this is checked exception. So if your customized exception extends exception, so exception default, the default nature is checked exception. But checked exceptions also subclasses, right? Runtime exception or so unchecked exceptions we have. Runtime exception. If you extends runtime exception, you see, your custom class is not showing any compile. So is there any error? So what type of order exception it is? So this is now unchecked exception. So if your custom exception is extends, so exception or IO exception, that is checked exception. Okay. So if your custom exception class extends runtime exception, that is unchecked exception. Okay. That is the question here. Okay. If someone asks you, so please create user defined unchecked exception, then which class you are going to extends. So runtime. So if I ask you to create a user exception class of checked type. So IO exception or exception. So okay, that you can clear, right? This is unchecked exception when your custom class is extends runtime exception, and if it is extends exception, then it is checked exception. So compile time is show error. Okay. 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 Then so these are the user defined exception. Okay. So see if you are giving okay. So age is greater than okay. Okay. Let me give 18, 26. So if I run, the given age is 26. If you give see, exception throw. Okay. The age exception. So your static message is coming from here. If you are providing any message like age is must 18, then what happened? Your dynamic message. That is good. Okay. So okay. Like this, we can create our custom exception. So I'll explain you again. So how to create user-defined exception. So user-defined exception, you can create many ways. Like you can extend throwable class because that is all exception classes are extend throwable, and you can extend exception class, and you can also extend runtime exception class. It is unchecked exception, and if it is, you can extend IO exception. If it is checked exception. Okay. Oh, so first, so whenever you extend exception class, this class, your user defined class is a exception class. Okay. So I created a variable that is string variable. So you have to take the message, right? So I want to take a message, then only you can create it. Otherwise, you can simply create it. This water exception means constructor. Okay. So this is static message. I am assign this static message. And so if you want to assign a dynamic message, you can create your parameterized constructor. Then you can assign that message here. So either it is static message or dynamic message. So what message you are going to pass it. Okay. Then okay, you can take it any method. So again, if you have to call it. Suppose I don't want to call this method. So this method is there, right? I don't want to call this method. Then, so there is one more method called toString method. ToString method. See here. So toString is override method in Throwable. Okay. So this is extends, right? So extends keyword, we extends exception, and exception class is extends throwable. So there is a toString method. Okay. So whenever you listen, here you can return your message. Message. Okay. So whenever this is also taking string type only, right? Okay. We just write. So you no need to call a method. See here So simply you can add throw surrounding with try catch, or else you can say one thing. So there is a let me tell you, this is okay how to put it. So we have a, where is that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. See, surrounding with try catch. So simply it is taking, creating for you, and so automatically it is coming. Okay. Try catch. So now if you want to put it that message, you can simply take says out dot that e. Okay. Then run. So water age exception. Age must be greater than or equals to 18. Okay. The static message is printed. See, if you use e dot in print stack trace, okay, is so there is a default handler. The way of showing the error message, there is a color code, right? We have seen. So I'll show you this. See, water age exception, age must be greater than or equals to 18. Right? So before it is showing some normal message kind of thing, right? So how you are getting the exception like this, it is showing e dot print stack trace. Okay. So whenever you handle it, always better you can print the message so that that message is clear, right? See, if you run this, the message is clear, right? How? So system dot order internal that e. Okay. So simply you can run it. Simple. If you want that red and all color codes, you can use that. So I am putting only E. So this E internally, see, I am putting E, but this is called E dot toString method internally. Okay. So either E or E dot. So you can simply use like this also before we use. So like this. So water age exception, age must be greater than or equals to 8. Okay. And if you want to create message with the constructor, that it can call your age must be 19. Okay. See, age must be 19. Okay. This toString is a predefined method in Java. Okay. So this is how we can create water exceptions, custom exceptions. Okay. Like this. Okay. So for this, I can stop. Okay. That's it today. So if you have any questions, you can comment it below in my session. I can try to reply back to you. So bye bye. Thank you. Please subscribe my channel.